Rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, rise, shine, give God the glory, glory, children of the Lord. That's what my mama used to say every morning, getting up her six children. Rise. God has something for you to do today, Edwina. My mother, bless her heart, Helen Jones Lamar Hall Taylor. I love you and I miss you, my mama. But guess what? God said, don't worry about her. I got her. You did what you could, not just with your mother, with Paul, with Fonnie, with Aunt Elsie, with Aunt Margaret, with Doc, with Willie, right? With Twin, right? With Deborah Jean, right? With Helen, right? Come on. With Yolanda, what? You did and are doing your job, Edwina, because we are born to serve. Who would have ever thought the prodigal child, the black sheep of the family, right, would be prepared to take care of 11 members of my family. One was an extended family member. I call him Benjamin Twinby Brown. And the other 10 were biological family members. And most of them were on hospice. And my latest was my sister niece, Helen Sabrina Hall. To God be the glory. So you never know what God is going to prepare you for, even if you don't have any idea what you're doing. He will make provisions for you because he has prepared you. So let's give him the honor, the praise, the glory, the hallelujah, the worship, but most importantly, the acknowledgement. See, God knows we need him, but he wants us to want him. And I want him like nothing else I have ever experienced or will experience. Listen, as long as I yield to the Spirit and allow God to continue to order my steps, I'm walking, I'm running, I'm skipping, I'm jumping, I'm jumping. Yes, welcome to Free to Hope Conversation with Edwina B. You know the meaning. It's free to hope. From recovery, we emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So many of you know, as a result of my 34 plus years in a 12-step spiritual program, right? And a 12-step spiritual fellowship, I have been prepared to do unbelievable, unimaginary things. Why? Because on February the 22nd of 1990, underneath a parked car in the streets of Philadelphia, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting high with and doing all kind of sexual favors for my stepson, both of us suffering from co-occurring disorders. Are you kidding me? Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops was beyond that, right? And so I just thank God that that was my one and only knee bowing experience, where that humiliating, degrading human experience that I had, God saw fit to open up the floods of the water and allow my spirit to cry out, Lord, help me, help me, help me. Whoever they say you are, help me. He knew I was ready. So there comes humility that we've been talking about the whole month of July. The 7th step in AA, it says, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. Okay? So, free to hope, from recovery, emerge empowered, only to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So let me ask you from the very start, right? How and in what way have you helped others? And let me add this word, unconditionally. It took me some time to do that, right? I told you I'm authentic and transparent. When was the last time, let me ask this question, you did something for somebody else and it was unconditional. You didn't want to seek praise. You didn't want to seek a smack on the back. You didn't want to be acknowledged. When was the last time you helped somebody unconditionally? Well, I'm going to tell you, I try to do it and practice it every day. Do you hear the word practice and try? Yes. Our humanness don't want us to do that, right? And unless you, like I, have had that knee-bowing experience, we will be set on the pathway to spiritual recovery, right? So that we can experience spiritual awakenings and have spiritual breakthroughs and learn all of the fruit of the Spirit, right? And so I thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous because they use the word practice. Practice. Oh, no. We make progress and we do not achieve perfection. Number one, we can't. Number two, what good would it do? Because if we were so inclined to think we were perfect, we wouldn't need you, and we definitely wouldn't need God. Oh, hell to the no. I'm going to say it. Hell to the no. I tell you, I'm looking for Cocoa Pops, right? And so I have learned through my journey that any and everything that I have gone through, went through, and will go through has been waiting for me. Oh, yes. I love my brother Eddie Boy. He's a talker, but right? He makes some good points. Did you hear what I say? Everything that has happened, everything that has been done, and everything that will be done has been and is waiting for us. Yes. Now, for me, this is the hit, as we would say in our addiction, but in our recovery now, right? We will say, this time I'm aware of my humanness, and because of these spiritual principles, tools, and resources, I am more aware, right, of my spirituality. Oftentimes, I ask myself just one question that's twofold. Edwina, is what you're going to say, is what you're going to do, is how you want to act, is it going to feed the flesh or is it going to feed the spirit? Sometimes I even ignore asking myself that question because I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, right? That's just human nature, right? But I be doggone, I practice not giving anything or anybody that much power ever again, one, to make me go back to drinking underneath that parked car. But more importantly, I will practice not giving anything or anybody that much power ever again to steal my peace, my joy, my tranquility, my serenity. Hell to the no. And so when I find myself yielding to the flesh, right? Sometimes just automatically, right? I hit that pause button. Ooh, that didn't feel right. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Wow, why did I? It's not too late. Rewind. Lord, forgive me. That's the 7th step. Humbly ask him to remove my shortcoming as I stumble forward in life on this journey here on earth. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. And did you see today's topic, right? Did you see today's topic? We're going to talk about the worth of sobriety, right? But before I do that, let me give you an update regarding my niece, all right? So now, I am one who believes that when it comes from the heart, when it is truly unconditional, when it is sincere, then that's when I don't have a problem asking, okay? And I shared yesterday with the people at my AA meeting there's a difference in wanting something and there's a difference in needing something, right? Underneath that parked car, I needed God, right? To do what he has always done, kept me. But that changed when I had that knee bowing experience. I wanted him. Whoever they say you are, I want you to take me out this life or show me a better way. There's a need and then there's a want. I know I needed help, but at the end of my road, I wanted help and I wanted this force who I didn't know to take me out or show me a better way. And so, therefore, I do not feel guilty, embarrassed, uncomfortable, none of that. None of that. When I ask for a need, right? And the need is to prepare my niece / Helen for a beautiful memorial service. Okay. Now, people are, it's amazing, right? I got to take a drink with this one. Right. See, never judge a book by its cover. Okay. Let me tell you why. You know, someone with this social media started this congratulatory contribution to my birthday, right? Cash at me for my birthday. People were frowned on it and said, you know, oh my God, they must be this, they must be that, right? I ain't contributing to nobody's birthday, right? But okay, it's their birthday and we don't get presents like we used to, so what's wrong with asking, right? But you have people who judge them and people who criticize them, right? Then you had someone start reaching out and saying, well, let's start a GoFundMe page, right? And we know that there's some negativity around that, but then there's also some needs behind the GoFundMe, right? And people would criticize and judge about that. Da, 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 da. Now, I used to be one of those people. See, truth be told, like, and wow, you know what? How ghetto and this and that. No. Okay, I was one of them. That's why I tell you that you probably was too at one point in time, and you probably still think that way. But okay, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So what I'm finding out and have found out that those of us who criticize are now doing the same thing. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Cash at me. It's my birthday. My one of the mothers of my grandchildren, she did it and she said, I wonder if this works, right? And she set up a birthday page and asked for yes. And guess who contributed to the page? Me. Yes, it does work, but it works only with those who have the desire to be of service to others, right? All right, so no matter what people say or think about what we do in terms of asking for help in one way, shape, form, or fashion, you will know one thing about me. I am not afraid to ask, okay? So when I put out the page for my sister / niece, Helen Sabrina Hall, to solicit donations to help with her memorial service, right? Now, we also know that when it comes to family, there's a he, there's a haw, there's excuses, there's this, there's that. And truth be told, the person who has contributed the most in terms of finances and caring and all that, well, they get exhausted, right? They get exhausted. And so when exhaustion occurs, you have no other recourse but to ask for help. Now, truth be told, my mother and my aunt, particularly my aunt, said, Edwina, a woman never has to be broke. Really? No, a woman never has to be broke, right? And for those who don't understand that, think about it. Think about it. Well, when God delivered me from underneath that parked car and he put me on a spiritual pathway, those ideas, attitudes, and behaviors that I was taught that I needed to unlearn as a child, to relearn um, positive and spiritual attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, right? That I no longer want to use what I got to get what I want. Hell to the no. So these 34 years, I've put my trust in God. I know what faith is now. I know what it means to hold on until the miracle happens. I know what it means, right? I know what it means to not give Satan back what God has taken away from him. No, no, no. My mother used to say, devil, get your hands off my children. I did not carry them for 9 months for you to take them. God heard her prayers and God said, don't worry, Helen. I got your children, particularly that one. But anyway, so I'm not going to and have not resorted to that negativity. Yes, no, no, no. I know a God and I know that he will provide no matter what way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay. But I just wanted to put that out for those who have that spirit like I did about that is it's not for you. It's not for you. It's not for you. But it is for those who understand the need to be of service unconditionally. This cry, this plea is for you. Any way, shape, form, or fashion. It comes from the heart to the heart, and we all will be blessed. Okay? So I did put some more information up here for those who it's easier to do Cash App, Free to Hope, or because House of Right is the one performing the cremation and performing the services. You can go to their website at www.mortuary, mortuary.com, right? And you can go under resources, and the drop down box will show you a selection that says make a payment. That's where you can contribute to the call for help on behalf of my niece/sister, Helen Sabrina Hall. Okay, so go to rightmortuary.com to see the obituary announcements. And if you want to send flowers or make a donation, you can do that as well. Okay, so now let's get to the topic for today. All right, so you see the title that says, right, the worth of sobriety. All right, so y'all know many times I just focus on the word. So let's do this, okay? When you hear the word worth, right? Worth. And it brings to my mind, oh, what is that worth? Oh, that's not even worth it, right? So it could be in a spiritual sense, a physical sense, a mental sense, a financial sense, right? Right? And so worth, that we put value on something, or we evaluate the value of something, people, places, and things. Okay. All right. Worth. Is it worth my serenity? Is it worth my sobriety? Is it worth my opinion? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth my time? Right? Because what we're saying, something is valuable to us, right? And so our time is valuable to us. Our resources are valuable to us. Our peace of mind, serenity are valuable to us, right? So when we engage in the opportunity to measure the worth of getting into, getting out of, contributing to, you got the drift, right? We ask ourselves, is it worth it? All right. So now we got the worth, right, part. Now, the worth of sobriety. Okay. So if they're talking about the worth of sobriety, they are talking about me. and millions of others who have been chosen. Yes, we have been chosen. Those who are in recovery, practicing this new way of life that's spiritual in nature, right? That's within a spiritual fellowship. We are talking about those who are chosen. Why? Because our Creator knows who will be chosen to be prepared to help one more person. Yes. So out of my mother's 6 children, I was chosen. My mother had 4 addicted at one time, and I happened to be the worst. I was chosen. my mom would say, Lord, I'm so glad I only had one Edwina. Well, she didn't realize what she was saying, but that's just like the king with David, right? He had all these boys who he thought was fit for the king, and the guy said, nah, it ain't none of them. You got one more son. Oh yeah, the shepherd and the sheep, David. Yeah, go get him. Come to find out, he was the chosen one. I was chosen for the gift of sobriety. Yes, I was, and for many reasons. But let's get into the topic today. All right, so y'all know I dissect this baby. Okay, all right, so let's read what it says. Okay, it says here, the worth of sobriety. Now, this is from our co-founder, right? He says every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. This is 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 160. All right. Now, we're talking about Alcoholics Anonymous, a spiritual fellowship offering a spiritual program based on spiritual principles, resources, and tools, right? To be utilized one day at a time on all earthly matters. Okay. I go to my meetings every day in one way, shape, form, or fashion for the past 34 plus years, and I will continue to go. Why? Because not only does it work, I feel I am being of service unconditionally to others. Yes. And likewise to me. So the person in recovery writes this. He says, when I go shopping, I look at the prices, and if I need what I see, I buy it and pay. Now that I am supposed to be in rehabilitation, I have to straighten out my life. When I go to a meeting, I take a coffee with sugar and milk, sometimes more than one. But at the collection time, I am either too busy to take money out of my purse, or I do not have enough, but I am there because I need this meeting. I heard someone suggest dropping the price of a beer into the basket, and I thought, that's too much. I almost never give $1. Like many others, I rely on the more generous members to finance the fellowship. I forget that it takes money to rent the meeting room, buy my milk, sugar, and cups. I will pay without hesitation 90 cents for a cup of coffee at a restaurant after the meeting. I always have enough money for that. So how much is my sobriety and my inner peace worth? Woo, baby. Let's dive into this. Okay. So it starts off, by saying every AA group. So that means that in Alcoholics Anonymous, there are no membership fees, there are no dues or nothing. We are self-supporting, right? And who would have thought that people like us, stealers, manipulators, thieves, right, con artists and everything else, right, would be chosen to participate in a fellowship, and it has to be supported by us. Yes. declining outside contributions. You know why? Because and we did through the Washingtonians and the Oxford group, right? They allowed, right, the infiltration of politics, religion, medical, right, into their groups, right, which the only purpose was to help each other stay sober, right? But these outside contributions and donations also wanted to call the shots. So that's why the Alcoholics Anonymous Fellowship learned from those two previous movements and say, no, no, no. We need to be self-supporting, declining all outside contributions, right? There's something about taking care of your own. It's something about working together to support and feed one another. This way, we don't have to rely on outside contributions because we know the value of one alcoholic helping another, right? All right, so that's that part, right? Then the person, he writes, right, he says, right, when I go shopping, I look at the prices, and if I need what I see, I buy it and pay. Okay. Now, okay. So I need eggs. I need milk. Okay. Yes. Okay. I need bread. All right. So my mother would go shopping for the things that she needed. Right. But with 6 children, she know that we wanted something else. We wanted some candy. We wanted some cookies. We wanted some Kool-Aid, right? And so she was able to provide what we needed, right? But she was also willing and able to buy what her children wanted. But the need was met first and then the wants, okay? So in recovery, I learned that I am still today unmanageable with my money. Yes, I am. I had and sometimes do have attitude. Well, okay, it's just money. Okay, it's just money, right? I don't worry about money, right? And that attitude has gotten me into some challenging situations, right? On the other hand, right, I am not a miser. I'm not a penny pincher. Know that. I'm just like here, whatever, whatever, right? That free spirit, right? And so I know that when I go somewhere and I see something that I like, not something that I need. Okay, let's put that on the shelf. I'm talking about you, and you. We go somewhere and be, oh, I like that. Oh, I want that. I don't. I want. Listen, girl, I want that. I don't even look at the price. I don't care. Alrighty then. Your mortgage is due. Oh, I figured out later. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Paying Peter to pay Paul because of something I want, I got to have. No, that's our ego and our pride, right? And okay. But we have to go through in order to get through, to come through, all right? And so I have gotten, I'm going to say 90% better with that, all right? All right, so he says here, right? He says here, now that I am supposed to be in rehabilitation, I have to straighten out my life, right? And so alcoholism, drug addiction, and the lifestyle of prostitution and all of that, right, took a toll on me mentally, physically, spiritually, and definitely financially, right? And so now that I am in rehabilitation, right, recovery, right, trying to understand that there's nothing wrong with me, but there was plenty that happened to me. So I need to be rehabilitated with my thinking. Drinking, drugging, prostituting was the outside crutch that I used for inner issues that I was unwilling or incapable of acknowledging and or resolving, right? Because they were too painful, it was too hurtful. So I concealed a lot of things that needed to be revealed, but I didn't, which did not allow me to heal, right? So now that I am in rehabilitation and in this recovery process, I'm going to reveal everything that I concealed so that I can begin the healing process. So here come the psychic change. Here come the application of these spiritual principles, tools, and resources, right? So going back in my fourth step and being taught how to unlearn what I learned that got me underneath that parked car to learn something more spiritual in nature. All right. So she goes on to say, right? When I go to a meeting, I take a coffee with sugar and milk, sometimes more than one. Okay. So at our meetings, there's no dues, there's no fees, there's no, other than us supporting one another. So most times people just come to the meeting for the free coffee. Okay. It's free to them, but it's not free to the group. Okay. And so when we think about going to a bar or going to a hit house, we pull out our money, we pop, we don't care, we da. But now in the group setting where there's coffee, we drink, and we have a lot of people who come from institutions and transitional house. They can't use or drink caffeinated coffee, so they come to the meetings for caffeinated coffee. Yeah, okay, guess what? Hopefully, by them coming for the coffee, here's something to help keep them sober. Okay, so now she goes on to say, right? But at the collection time, I'm either too busy to take money out of my purse, or I do not have enough. But I am there because I need this meeting. Oh my God! So you see what she's saying? So some of us who are in recovery, we really don't understand the basket being passed around. Now, we know about the basket in church, and we know about how they keep passing the basket in church, and we know how they come back and pass the basket in church, right? Mm-hmm. But in Alcoholics Anonymous, in this spiritual fellowship, no. We just need to collect enough money from ourselves to pay for the rent that we are having our meeting in that building, to pay for coffee, to pay for sugar, to pay for milk, right? That's all we need. But then the young lady said the reason why, right? The reason why is because oh, wait a minute. Because she needs the meeting, right? It says here, but the collection time, I am either too busy to take money out of my purse, or I do not have enough. But I am there because I need the meeting. In the beginning, we are instructed to go to 12-step meetings. Yes, we are. We buffle and we ain't got enough meeting. You went to the hit house, didn't you? You went to the bar, didn't you? You went tricking, didn't you? And I don't want to go to the meeting. Well, what did tricking, drinking, and drugging get you underneath that parked car, didn't you? So you mean to tell me you can't take an hour to go to a meeting? All right. Because I don't know what it's all about in the beginning, but I know what was behind me, and I don't want to go back there ever again. Hell to the no. All right. And so I now know that in the beginning, even though I may have been resistant, I needed to go to a meeting, because in spite of the coffee and the cream and the sugar and the people, I needed to stay sober. I needed to believe that staying sober was possible. I needed to see other people who had the same situations, and some may be different. I needed to know how not to drink ever again. I needed to know that I could live without drinking. I needed to go to the meeting. Yes. And I've been going ever since. And I'm going to say I need to go, but I want to go. Listen. You can't stop me from going to meetings, right? And so let's continue, right? I got a time, right? So then she says, right? Woo! Then I heard someone suggest dropping the price of a beer into the basket, and I thought that's too much. Think about it. She heard a suggestion, not a demand. She heard a suggestion. If you're hesitant and you don't know where the money's going, this and that, all righty then. Well, what happened when you were at the bar and they gave you watered down liquor? What happened when you went to the hit house and instead of crack, they gave you drywall? You still gave up your money, didn't you? I know I did, right? What happened when I was tricking and the guy said, you got to do the service before I pay you? And if he wasn't satisfied with the service, he wouldn't pay me. Okay, so I am one who compare what I was willing to do in my addiction that I'm willing to do in my recovery. And so someone made the suggestion to her, well, how much was a beer? Okay, let's say $1. All right. Well, instead of buying beer for $1, why don't you put that dollar in the basket so that we can all stay sober one day at a time? All right. So let's go on, right? So then she said, right, oh, and I thought that's too much. Okay, I almost never gave $1. Oh my God, y'all. How much have you spent on clothes, jewelry, shoes, this or that or this or that, and you didn't even need it? How much? How much? Listen, I ain't got time today, but I got some stories to tell y'all about this kind of situation. Well, let me give you one. All right, since I'm on the topic, right? I told you I'm unmanageable with my money and not as bad as I used to be. But I had an American Express card, right? And I went to Europe and with that American Express card, I bought this, I bought that, I bought two of this, I bought two of that, I bought this, I bought that. Oh my God, I just went on a spending spree, right? Now, you know, with American Express, you have to pay that money back in 30 days. When I got that bill, I was like, oh my goodness. Woo! Money, where am I getting? Oh, okay. My taxes. And thanks to a gentleman that I dreamt about last night, Ron E. Williams, right? He was doing my taxes, and it so happened that I received my tax refund based on him redoing my taxes, and I had enough money to pay that American Express bill in full. That was total unmanageable, right? Unmanagement. That was totally ridiculous. I didn't need a damn thing, right? But I want, right? And so once I paid that bill, right? The next bill that came was just $1. Guess what I did, y'all? I put the $10,000 bill on one side of the refrigerator, and I put the dollar bill, the dollar invoice on the other side of the refrigerator. And every time I would think about buying something, I get reminded of, do I want to commit insanity again, or do I want to be restored to sanity? I just wanted to put that in there for you, okay? All right. So then the person says, let's go here. He says, like many others, I rely on the more generous members to finance the fellowship. Okay. Now, all right. So I tell you, like, I break things down. All right. So I always compare in my past, right? Particularly my addiction. When we would go to bars and we would go to hit houses, right? And there are people who have more than you, and there's times you have more than them, right? And so when we see that somebody has more than us, we are not so willing to give up ours. Let them spend their money. Let them spend their money. Let them spend their money, right? But what goes around comes around. And so those who became wise and those who watched, they said, I know the game now, okay? And so me thinking that I want to be the star of the show, the center of attraction, and I got all this money, I'm being tricked like I tricked them, okay? And so now in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, We have lawyers, we have doctors, we have homeless people, we have people in shelters, we have people in transitional houses, we have ministers, okay? But all of us are alcoholics, right? And so, yes, there are some who have more to contribute in the pot than others, right? But guess what? All we want is enough to pay our rent, to buy coffee, cream, and sugar, and to have a reserve. So a dime, a nickel, a penny, a dollar. And guess what? If somebody put in, and somebody did one time, I think they put in $500. And we took that money and gave it back to them and said, no, we don't need that much, right? Somebody wanted to leave us $5,000 in their will, and we had a debate about it. No, we don't need that much. We just need enough to have a reserve and just to pay for our rent cost. Right. So we're not about making any money. We're just wanting to show people how we can be self-supporting, declining outside contributions, because that person who had $500 could have came back and said, do this and do that. The person who left $5,000 in the will, their family member can say, well, you took my mother's money, you had to put her name on this and that. That's why we don't do it. Okay. All right. So I got a few more. I got time. All right. So now it says here, I forget that it takes money to rent the meeting room, buy my milk, sugar, and coffee. I will pay without hesitation 90 cents for a cup of coffee at a restaurant after the meeting. I always have money for that. Okay. So it's amazing. It's just amazing how our humanness mind thinks, right? So I'm coming to a place that's going to help me get my life together, that's going to help me get sober, that's going to help me be prepared for things yet to come, that's going to help restore my life, that's going to help restore my health, that's going to help restore integration back into the community and my family, that's going to help me to find a higher power of my understanding, that's going to help me, that's going to help me. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear and we'll get that example. Well, when you leave the meeting, you want to go to the restaurant and spend $2, $5 for coffee now, and we're only asking you to put a penny, a dime, or a dollar in the basket. And you're getting free coffee. Are you kidding me? All right, but that's how it goes sometimes, right? Until the student becomes ready and the teacher will appear. And so the last thing that the person says here, right? He says, so how much is my sobriety and my inner peace worth? How much is my sobriety and my inner peace worth? Woo! Do you need to ask me? Do you need to ask me? Listen, y'all. When I talk about these 12 spiritual principles, resources, and tools, along with my journaling that I did the first 4 years in recovery, coupled with the Spiritual Revival Hour gospel song with the late Benjamin Twimby Brown, my church affiliation with Canaan Baptist Church, right? The 5 agreements by the Uiz family, and more important, the spiritual transformational teachings by Dr. Sonia of P3 Global. Now, let me hang a nail there. And I said this yesterday. With me going through asking for help regarding my niche services, because people are who they are, and right? I made a decision that I'm not going to go through this again, right? Because Dr. Sonia said, and she's the one who believes that the GoFundMe and asking, it's a cop-out because, and she justified why. And she says that everybody has a story. Everybody's story can help somebody else, right? And so, why not learn how to share your story, not only to help somebody else, but to receive financial blessings for sharing your story with somebody else? And her quote is, if you did not come from a wealthy family, let a wealthy family come from you. So, after this with my niece, this has motivated me even the more to go back to her trainings and to put into action what she has suggested. Not demand. You want to be broke or you want some money? Do you want to be crying that you're poor, or do you want to have an abundance of things in your life based on spiritual principles, choices, right? Tools, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. And so if you did not come from a wealthy family, and most of them didn't, let a wealthy family come from you. This is why for these past 34 plus years, I have been sharing my story on one platform or another. Now it's time to package, right? To package these stories. It's only really one story. To package this story and to have it available on many platforms and in some cases simultaneously, right? And so when we talk about the worth of my sobriety and the worth of my peace of mind and serenity, wouldn't you want to have a peace of mind? Wouldn't you want to have sobriety? I'm not talking about just from alcohol or drugs. It could be from shopping. It could be from people pleasing. It could be from gambling. Don't you want to have your sobriety be worth something that will give you the inner peace and tranquility that you desire? Well, I do, and I have no problem. That's why I am cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. That's why I am transparent and authentic, because I have learned that everything that I went through, everything that I did, everything that I'm going through, everything that I will go through has been waiting for me. This time, I've been giving another set of tools, principles, and resources that are spiritual in nature, that will produce spiritual experiences, that will produce spiritual awakenings, that will give me an unlimited amount of spiritual breakthroughs, right? Applying all those spiritual tools, resources, and principles to all earthly matters. So you better believe my sobriety is very well worth it. And my peace of mind demands it. No matter what. All right. So it's time for me to get ready to go to my meeting. Let me put back up my information regarding my niece. Okay. And so that you can also be a blessing to our family, a blessing to Helen, a blessing to her grandchildren. Okay. And the blessings that you will provide, if you know it or not, will be returned to you tenfold, providing that it is unconditional. All right. And so Helen Sabrina Hall, her memorial services is Saturday, August the 10th, 2024, from noon to 3:30 p.m. It's going to be held at our church, right? Canaan Baptist Church, 3011 Newcastle Avenue in Newcastle, Delaware, where our pastor is Reverend Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock, right? So donations, a dollar, a dime, it doesn't matter. If it comes from the heart and it's unconditional, can be sent to Cash App $free to hope. $FREETOHOPE. $free to hope. Or you can go to www.write WRIGHT, mortuary, mortuary.com. Go under resources, and the drop down box will say make a payment. This is where you can go to make a donation to the services and the family, particularly her grandchildren, for my niece slash Helen, my niece slash sister Helen Hall. Okay. Let me say in closing that I just want to thank you, and I just want to make sure that you know that my God chose me. And if you are watching now or later, you were chosen also. I also know that I need to listen more to the spiritual message and not focus on the messenger. God has many disguises, and we never know, right, how he is going to appear for us to see and measure our level of unconditional love that we have an opportunity to practice every day. These 12 spiritual principles, tools, and resources have helped guided my life for the past 34 plus years. Now, God is on sacred time. Man is on secular time, okay? Because all we have is today. Give us this day our daily bread, all right? So, if it's God's will that you and I are rejoined tomorrow, I'll be here. And if it's his will, you will be here too. Be of service to someone today. Think about helping someone today unconditionally. Be kind to yourself. Be loving to yourself. Forgive yourself for what you do for yourself first. You can now do for others because you know what it feels like to be set free from recovery, emerge empowered, only to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. Okay? I love you. You love me. We are one big old family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? I love y'all. Be good to yourself today. Therefore, you can be good to somebody else. God loves you, and so do I. Be blessed. Lord, I love you. I love you, Lord.